I don't know what to start talking about.
No problem.
I'm like, I can't choose. Hi.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good.
Great.
How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Want me to wear a mask? Doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, shit.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
I'm gonna put my stuff away.
Sure. So, yeah.
This is cool.
How were your classes today? Did you go with any?
I went to one right now. It was my architecture discussion.
Architecture, cool.
Nice. We're
Nice.
just studying architectural studies, like how to study architecture in different ways. And then we had a pretty good ending conversation.
Nice.
And the ending conversation was talking about how different social values change as new technology develops. So we were talking about how the implementation of a sewer system in Paris changed the social values of people's how people viewed and valued cleanliness, and also how that also it interconnected with hierarchy and social class. But it was interesting.
Very interesting. Awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me explain what I'm doing here just to see if you want to do it or not.
Okay.
We're trying to practice this way of having conversations called street epistemology.
Okay.
It's a Socratic style of having conversation where someone brings up a claim and someone else is in a questioner role, where they try to keep their opinion out of it and help someone else reflect on what they believe and why through questions. And if you feel like it, we can later on collaborate on how to figure out if those reasons that this person gives for this whatever claim is actually good reasons or not.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
What does it have to do? What is this?
That is a way to weigh potential reasons that we come up with, potentially.
Uh-huh.
If you're super confident that it's true or not true, and we can weigh reasons about it.
Okay.
Yeah, it can get complicated if we go down that road if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. Want to do headphones?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hello.
Feel free to scoot up and talk into that as close as you can. All right, welcome.
Oh jeez.
My name is Reed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gina.
Gina, Gina.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I love those robots. Have you ever bought anything with that?
No.
Yeah.
I'll just walk.
Just walk.
Yeah.
we were thinking of getting some snacks and seeing if it worked or not.
It does. I don't know what app is that, but it's
Cool.
cool.
Starship.
Starship app. That's fun though.
Yeah.
Awesome. So there were some topics on the board over there. Anything strike your fancy? Anything seem interesting, or what would you like to talk about?
Let's see. I kind of forgot the questions on there, to be honest. Could I see them again?
Yeah. Can you just grab the board off there? And yeah.
What's the biggest?
We don't have to pick these questions. They can be anything. I can write down a specific question.
What's true that's not allowed to be said? What's true that's not allowed to be said? Let me think. Sorry, I don't know why it's taking me so long to think about stuff.
Take your time.
Okay, what's the biggest problem no one is talking about? I feel like it depends on the people. I guess Sorry, I'll just give this back. I guess it depends on the people that you surround yourself with, but I feel like a big problem in society right now is how focused we are on material things, and people have lost a sense of touch with spirituality.
People are more focused on material things rather than spirituality.
Yeah.
Okay, can you grab that post-it note? Biggest problem? Yeah, so that's one answer to that question, is more focus on material things, less focus on spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are two answers. Any other answers? Potential answers to that question?
I think another problem that comes with the chase for material items is also the idea of, or a big problem is that everybody is looking towards the future for like some kind of solution, and a lot of people aren't actually grounded in the present
People aren't grounded in the present.
because of all our goal setting and like our idea of like reaching this future goal as a society, and that's like in so many ways, but I feel like a lot of people are not actually fully like I don't know, embracing their senses and like actually staying in the present moment and like being able to like distinguish what they actually want to do in life.
Okay. Not enough focus on the present is another problem. Okay. So too much focus on material things, not enough focus on spirituality, and not enough focus on the present. Okay. Let's rank these. Which is the biggest problem of these three?
I'd say I'd say the one with material items, I'd say, because that's also kind of reflecting in our environment, and that's kind of like a very imminent disaster that is like happening.
Yeah, one consequence of focusing too much on material things is we have less focus on the environment, or how does that relate?
I'd say because of our focus on material items and like the chase for it, we like completely disregard how many things we're over consuming, and that's like with big entities like companies where they're searching for more material things through capital and like trying to be the most wealthiest, and so that's in the cost of like everything else.
Yeah, material things require stuff that causes climate change. Okay, so that's the problem. That's the consequence of that focus.
I'd say.
So is climate change the biggest problem, or is it too much focus on material things?
Climate change is also a big problem. Yeah.
Which is bigger?
I'd say climate change
is bigger than focusing on material things?
It's kind of like a cause and effect thing. That's a good question.
Yeah, does this cause climate change, or is that just...
Oh, yeah, okay, so then this.
So this is
the most
really
important.
That's really the big deal.
Actually, I kind of want to put spirituality maybe first.
You want to put that one?
Yeah.
Is that the biggest problem? Because lack of spirituality leads to that, and that leads to climate change.
Yeah.
So it's like we're going up the stream.
Yeah.
So not enough focus on spirituality is the biggest problem.
Yeah. I guess so.
We can talk about that. All right, and I like to give people a sense of confidence about whatever we're talking about. If all the way to the right, black, is absolutely yes, this is true, that not enough focus on spirituality is the biggest problem no one is talking about, or all the way to the left, no, it's not, or in the middle, not sure. Where's your current confidence about it?
Oh, okay. I'd say like here.
Okay, great. Cool. So we have, this is the upstream answer to that. Cool. And you're about 90%, 80, 85, 90% about that. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. Now let's, what do you mean by spirituality? Let's get some clarity on words, if that would be great.
Okay.
What do you mean by spirituality?
I'd say we are, spirituality, I feel like, is the ability to let go of thought.
The ability to let go of thought? Okay.
And the ability to be satisfied with what you have in the current moment, I would say. And also, and trying and realizing that, like, I feel like we are here on this earth to connect with, like, the source of life, which is like nature, which is like other human beings, and like forming relationships instead of chasing other things that will feed our ego. So it's kind of like that spirituality is kind of like how conscious you are in the present moment, on like whether you realize that your ego is the thing that's making you like chase things that are like kind of unnecessary for your life and causing you suffering, and being able to like I don't know, be aware of that, I feel like is kind of what spirituality is.
Okay. Like ability to let go of thought, ability to be satisfied with what you have in the current moment, a better connection to the source of life or nature, other human beings, not feeding your ego, and being conscious in the present moment. All of that's wrapped up in spirituality?
Yeah.
Spirituality. Great. So, cool. And you're about 85-90% about that. What gets you to that level of confidence? What are the main reasons why?
Well, I'd say it's kind of my own experience, I guess. I feel like that's what makes up a lot of people's truths. This is basically what they've experienced in their lives and what other people have told them, I guess. I feel like I reached this point because of all the things that I learned this past year. My dad talks a lot about spirituality. There's this person I met over the summer who talked a lot about these concepts of like how connected we are as like human beings and like with nature, and like how like your reality is kind of a reflection of yourself. But I'd say it's like the people that I've interacted with, and also my own personal experience of like kind of freeing myself from this idea of the ego.
Okay.
Because I have like kind of gone through that journey of like having, or I still do have an ego, like everybody does to some extent, unless you've like reached spiritual enlightenment where you don't where you're not ruled by comparison to other people, and also having a sense of identity in material things instead of a sense of identity in just presence and like being. But yeah, I'd say it's like the interactions I've had with people and like the things that I've learned from them, and also experiencing the letting go of ego and like being aware of ego myself, and how that has helped me to kind of like navigate the world we are in right now and kind of know what I want to do for myself, like, or I want to do that will help ideas or help things like such as like climate change and like yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so the way you know that the biggest problem no one is talking about is not enough focus on spirituality is because you've had personal experiences with people, and those experiences include something about ego, where there's people are more focusing on material things, therefore feeding their own ego, and these things relate to spirituality in some way. What's the best example of a personal experience you've had where you saw a problem that was happening and the cause of that problem was not a focus on spirituality?
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, what's the best example of someone not focusing on spirituality and that causing a problem? Is that a fair question?
I'd say so. And that causing a problem. I feel like even people who are spiritual, they will like fall into not being very like conscious of the present. But like this, I feel like applies to like many people that are here on this earth. But that sorry, wait, not enough.
Did you observe someone focusing on the future or the past and not the present, and that causes them problems in life or something?
Well, this is like, I'd say, yeah, like all of our suffering kind of comes from this idea of, like all human suffering is this idea of not being like our environments are very neutral unless you're going through like intense like physical pain or like intense, or actually those can also be considered neutral, but like a lot of our situations that we are like put in are neutral, but the way that our mind perceives it is the cause of the suffering.
Our own mind causes
Like our
the
thoughts.
suffering, our thoughts. And spirituality helps not do that? Okay. Okay. So people could have less suffering in their lives if they were more spiritual?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so if we had more focus on spirituality, people would have less suffering. So maybe a reason for this is that unnecessary suffering exists, or it's increasing in the world. There's too much unnecessary suffering in the world.
That's another thing too. I don't know if it's like a present day thing where it's increasing. I'd say like with the disconnection of humans, like I mean like it's like shown too that mental illnesses have like risen with like the invention of social media.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like it shows kind of like this idea of, or sorry, I can't really articulate my words well, but
That's fine. Yeah, we're trying.
that's also a reflection of like people not being spiritual and being like aware of like what things, like they're being controlled by basically money. Like these big companies that like social media has grown into like one of the biggest things.
Yeah.
Like the biggest companies and like money makers because of like our attention, but that's kind of like a result of like we're not like really grounded in what exactly we want. Everyone's like gonna chase for money, and that's like also reflected in material things.
Yeah, back to material things.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a reason to think there's too much focus on material things? Is that a reason to believe there's not enough focus on spirituality? Is that evident? Yeah.
Is that a reason to believe that there's? Yes.
If there's too much focus on material things, that implies there's not enough focus on spirituality?
Yeah, they kind of imply each other, I'd say.
Okay.
'Cause spirituality is getting in touch with the non-material, like feelings and like
That's part
connection.
of the definition. Okay, let's add that.
Yeah.
It's what again? Not getting in touch with the material, or what is it?
It's getting in touch with the non-material.
Getting in touch with the non-material.
With
What is that?
like
Yeah.
like connection. It's like some things that you can't like put into words, some things that you can't explain, but it's like getting in touch with like, I don't know, like energy from nature, energy from other human beings, and like being able to fully see that instead of always chasing for like money and more comforts. But yeah.
Okay. So not enough focus on getting in touch with the non-material is another way of saying that. Therefore, if people are focusing on material things, that's a reason for that. Okay. There's too much focus on material things, or there's an increase in focus on material things. That's the reason. Okay. Any other reasons?
Well, I think it's kind of a consequence of the gift that we were given of like being able to think as animals. That's another reason why.
We were given the gift to think as animals. Is that part of spirituality? Or
That's like a consequence of why there's not enough spirituality, because like with the invention of words, we kind of started to label a lot of things and objectify them.
Okay. If everyone was more spiritual, we would not have
There'd be less
language and labeling.
less labeling. I feel like if we use language, language can be used as a tool so that we can survive and things like that. But like, there's, spirituality is kind of letting go of thought and like simply being present.
Okay. Like oppressive language, is that close to it?
Oppressive language?
Yeah, like, or, yeah, like how does language relate to not focusing on spirituality being a problem?
Well, I'm saying that not focusing on spirituality and like the non-material and just that all that stuff is a consequence of the invention of thought in our like human minds.
That's a consequence of it.
Yeah.
If we did not invent thought, we would be more likely to be spiritual.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that the invention of thought is a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like an inevitable consequence of what happened.
An inevitable consequence.
Mhm.
Now that we are thinking as a species, as an animal, we can think words. We can use words in good or bad ways, in ways that help us focus on spirituality or not focus on spirituality. Stuff like that. Okay. Any other reasons?
Any other reasons?
Thank you. Have a great day. Yay! Thank you.
No. I think yeah.
Okay.
Or there's yeah.
So and how would we phrase that language reason again?
Wait, so is the purpose of recording that what is that going to be like labeled as? Is that going to be like a cause?
Yeah, the thing that gives you confidence
Oh.
that not enough focus on spirituality is the biggest problem no one is talking about.
Oh.
And what's the reasons? One reason is an increase in focus on material things, and another reason is something about language. There's just an abuse of language or non-spiritual use of language is increasing or is happening.
I'd say it's kind of like the use of language to objectify everything.
The objectification through language? Objectification through language is a reason to think we're not focusing enough on spirituality. Okay.
Or the use of language to objectify.
The use of language to objectify. Which of these gives you more weight, gives you more confidence of the two? Or are they 50-50? If you had to pie chart them out, is it like 90% of one reason that's getting to that level? Or 50-50 or...
Actually, sorry, that one I feel like is kind of... I feel like...
Want to keep thinking about that one?
Yeah. I'd say this one's a good indicator.
Is that all? Is that the entire reason?
No. There's other reasons too. It's kind of hard. I'd say so kind of like what things have I seen that make this conclusion
what
most truthful?
What makes you think not enough focus on spirituality is a big problem?
I don't think I can. What else can I come up with?
Are spiritual and material dichotomies? Is it like on the spectrum?
Yeah.
Like you can have more spiritual and that automatically means less material. These are on a scale.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I'd say so.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
I see that, yeah.
Where on that scale, if 0 is all material, 10 is all spirituality people should be focusing on, is it like, should everyone be at a 10, all focus on all spirituality all the time? or should it be somewhere in the middle, ideally, for people?
I'd say the goal of a lot of people that are like kind of beginning to open up to like the spiritual realm is to like kind of get towards 10 on spirituality and like letting go of material things.
Is an ideal world where everyone is at a 10 all the time?
It's a good question. That's something like I'm kind of like,
You already got one? This is a different one. Do you want to check us out too?
I guess so in some ways. Where I don't know exactly how that would like pan out though. Yeah.
What would that world look like?
Oh, thank you. Okay, so
Or a world that's like more conscious of other living beings, such as like animals. So like the way we treat animals, and like how we are all connected with the animals. That's like a big thing. Like just the way we kind of treat Mother Nature.
Okay.
Mhm.
The way we treat Mother Nature is a metric for testing the level of spirituality in society?
I'd say so. Mhm.
All right. Cool. So we were talking about this reason. So now we know spirituality and material are on a spectrum together. There's an increase in focus on material things, so we're getting away from spirituality. Yeah. And ideally, everyone should be on that 10 out of 10 in terms of
Yeah.
that scale. Where is like American society on that scale right now?
I feel like I need to be more in touch with like other cultures to be able to like put America on a scale, I'd say. But I feel like in terms of comparison with like Eastern and Western cultures, I'd say Western is a bit lower on the scale.
Yeah.
And that's like presented in the way that they colonized the indigenous people, presented in the way that they were all like at war with each other. It's presented in the way that they have like these, I don't know, because like in the Eastern aspects too, that I feel like the Japanese also did colonize a lot of people, and actually, yeah, but the way that their religion, Western religion, is also set up is like, they kind of like tell people a lot of lies so that they will pay money to the people in power, which are like the Pope and like all those people, like the religious people used to be in power. And like in Eastern culture, I feel like the religion is a lot more based in kind of this idea of spirituality that's like less tainted by like human culture.
Eastern religions have better access to spirituality versus the Western religions?
I'd say Western religions, a lot of like what Christianity is trying to say is metaphorically what exactly like Eastern religions are also trying to say, but Western cultures have like adapted it to like so that they can like make the most money, like they can like
the prosperity gospel,
mhm.
you know, send checks to the preacher so he can buy a jet.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So I feel like Eastern countries have a little bit less of that, I'd say.
Which religion or population of people or group of people who follow a certain idea are on the highest of that scale?
That's a good question. I feel like I need to also like learn more about that and like the different people that believe. I kind of want to learn more about just religions all over, but like a lot of different things, like a lot of things that like I feel like even in this pandemic, a lot of emphasis on like mental health and like wellness has like sprouted up, and so those ideas, the way that you practice those things that help your mental health is meditation and yoga, and like those things stemmed from Eastern religions. So like India is, I feel like, where a lot of things sprouted, and then like that kind of diffuses out to the other countries around. And so like kind of like the ideals that Buddhism teaches, I feel like is the most that most resonates with me. But I'm only familiar with like a little bit of Buddhism and like a lot of Christianity, so like I still don't know the full capacity.
So where would India be on that scale, and where would the United States be on that scale right now?
I don't know like the full extent to like what India's culture is like. I know that a lot of
Just an estimation.
estimation. I don't know. I'd say I don't. Maybe America's like 3.
Okay.
There's a lot of people, like hippie cultures, that are like rising up and stuff like that. But like, I don't know how much, but like 3, and then India would be like 7 maybe. I don't know. That's
Okay.
my guess.
Okay. And ideally, all countries everywhere should be closer to a 10.
I think all
At some
countries
point.
should be like progressing towards that.
Progressing to a 10. Okay. All right. I want to check in to see how you're feeling. We can keep going and talk about this reason and the quality of this reason,
Mm-hmm.
or think of other reasons against this. Whatever you want to do.
I actually,
Yeah, it's so nice meeting you.
I'll try to be here later on, in the next few weeks as well. Maybe we can catch up and continue the conversation some another time, or we can keep going. Whatever you want to do.
true. I was gonna go get a table from
A table?
Facebook Marketplace.
A table for Facebook Marketplace. From.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think.
And we'll be here for another few hours, like
Oh, really?
another hour and a half, if you want to go grab that or something.
Ooh. Yeah, this isn't finished, right?
Yeah, we're not done.
Yeah. Sorry. How much longer do you think it'll be? Depends.
Probably another 20 minutes
Mhm.
talking about the quality of the reason and how we can test that reason.
Yeah. This is really interesting way of thinking.
Oh, really?
Of yeah, like why exactly we form truths,
Yeah.
and how everybody has their own different truths based on their own experiences and exposures to things. That's interesting. What other topics have you guys talked about with people today?
Oh, there's tons. You can check out my YouTube channel. I've got
Yeah.
tons of conversations with people. And we've talked about, what did we talk about? Some guy came up to us and talked about the threat of communism versus the freedom. That was intense. And someone else talked about past injustice, like what are the best ways to remedy past injustices. We talked about that question.
Yeah.
So it really, we're more focused on why people believe and,
Yeah.
and the quality of those reasons, the epistemology versus the what. So any claim can get us there to what we want to talk about.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's the next step, is to try to figure out how much weight should we give this reason, and if that weight is a good way to justify that level of confidence.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna text my roommate.
Sure.
It'll be a while. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna put this away. Okay, we can continue.
Okay, let's break this reason down into individual premises, just to be very specific. One premise of this reason is that more focus on the material means less focus on the spiritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What? Yeah. And that's just by definition. Why is that? That's just true by definition.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you can put a check mark on this blue corner here. That green check mark.
Oh.
So
Interesting.
that's true by definition. And less focus on the spiritual is a problem. That's another part of that reason. Or an increase in focus. What's the other premise? I guess it is that. An increase, Ideally, what is the other premise?
Thank you. Have a great day.
Not being at a 10
Have a great day.
on that spectrum of material to spiritual is a problem. Is that a premise?
I wouldn't use the term problem.
Yeah, it's just that's part of the question.
Oh, okay. That's. I'd say the problem is like the result of that. But like if we are progressing towards more spirituality, then that's good.
Progression towards spirituality is good. Is not a problem. Yeah. Okay. It's good. And good things are not problems. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, just in Christian fellowship. Thank you. Have a great day. Hi, are you just in Christian fellowship?
Progression towards spirituality
Anyway.
is good.
Because like I just want to also elaborate on like why it's not a problem that we are not at a 10 right now, is because the whole message behind that is like, behind spirituality is kind of to be accepting of what's happening right now, and instead of it being like this big problem that we shouldn't, like a big problem, like something negative, like something that's like gonna cause fear within people, it's more like accepting that reality. It's more like accepting that reality, and instead I guess, or accepting it as like a part of the journey, yeah, towards where we need to be. But yeah.
Gotcha. All right, you can put a check mark probably on this one. I'm just trying to connect the word problem to good.
A check mark. Okay.
Yeah, a check mark there. What is good is not a problem.
Okay.
That's just an obvious assumption that's connected there. So now we focus. We've got spirituality. That's covered. Material. That's covered. And problem, that's covered. All right, I just want to make sure all the main terms are covered in our premises. So now, if all of these were true, that would make this a good reason. Why? And how big of a reason is this? I wonder. How big of a reason do you think it is right now? If you've got a scale of... we can pick a color for this reason. Pick any color out of that box for this reason. It could be any color blocks that we can weigh for that. Want to pick the green? How about white?
White.
Yeah. So you have 4 out of 4 blocks.
Yeah.
0 blocks is no weight. It's not a good reason. Or 4 out of 4 blocks. It's like a really solid good reason, or anywhere in between. How much weight should this reason give?
I feel like this one's not a good reason. I feel like it's kind of worded.
How would you word that premise?
I would say, I feel like I want one of these things to be talking about like climate change. Can we like do that?
We could, well, yeah. An increase in focus on material things. Focus on material things leads to climate change, and climate change is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good premise. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I'd say this one too is kind of...
Okay. And climate change is a problem. if we had all those premises,
Yeah.
then how big of a reason should that be?
Oh, and it's out of 4 blocks?
Yeah, out of 4.
I'd say it's like all of them.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. Are we gonna start measuring the things that don't,
What do you mean?
that I'm like unsure about?
Yeah, there should be something that's causing you to not be all the way. So there should be a reason against this,
Oh,
potentially in your mind, since you're not all the way.
yeah.
But we can just focus on getting the premises right on this reason.
Okay.
All right. Is this true? We would say this is true. Focus on material things leads to climate change.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can put a check mark for that. We might question that later, but we'll just say for now that's true. If all of this is true, that more focus on material is less focus on the spiritual. Focus on material things leads to climate change, and climate change is a problem.
Mhm.
That's a reason to think that an increase in focus on material things is a reason to think not enough focus on spirituality is a problem. Great. And how big of a reason do you think this should be?
And then I put blocks in.
Yeah, the number of blocks. Oh, you put 4? Great. So that's 4 out of 4 blocks.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, so what causes you to not be all the way? What's that reason?
That's a good question.
Or should you feel free to change your confidence too, if there's nothing.
Yeah. Actually,
Because right now there's nothing in this other side.
yeah. I'd say it's kind of, yeah. I'd go there.
You should be there.
Oh, that's the thing though, because it's like hard to gauge.
Awesome, yeah.
Because like,
Cool.
to some extent, we kind of,
Sounds awesome, yeah.
our society has like developed to the point where we kind of need to focus on material things in order to survive.
Uh-huh.
It's like we need money to pay for rent, like regardless of where that money comes from. If it like hurts the environment, blah blah blah, like we need to pay rent. We need to like be connected with our social circles through social media, so then we buy a phone because that's what everyone's doing. So like to some extent, like to survive, to quote unquote survive and like be mentally happy, you kind of need to have a relationship with the material.
Yeah, so like a focus on material helps us survive.
Mhm.
That's a reason to think.
Mhm.
To have a little bit of doubt about this right here.
Yeah.
Okay. How big of a reason is this?
Oh.
Is it the same weight as this, or less? What color would you like for that?
It's an interesting, or it's a kind of weird thing to think about though, because like it's like survival versus convenience kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like convenience is kind of what's making us overconsume stuff. But I don't know. I'd say like, do I?
Pick a color, another color.
I'd say like 2.
Actually, don't have that color
Okay,
in
okay.
these magnets. Pick either green, black, yellow, red, or blue.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
No,
I'm
you're
getting
good.
more magnets.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Two, kind of.
That deserves a 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So would that mean this has to go
Yeah,
here?
should that would mean this is right there, according to the blocks.
Okay.
So is there any?
I want.
Just a 1?
Yeah.
Just a 1 here.
I see. Yeah, no, I kind of got
All right.
I was always
What method did you use, or what is a good method to weigh these reasons? How did you figure out the weight of these reasons?
I'd say this is less weight because while it does help us survive, things like shelter, things like, I don't know, clothing and like being able to like be warm is, and like food and things like that is very essential. But like a lot of the things that we think make us survive don't actually. They're kind of like unnecessary gadgets-ish.
Yeah, there's a lot of unnecessary focusing on material things.
Yeah.
That are not. There's too much focus on material things that don't help us survive.
Mm-hmm. That
Okay.
don't help us.
Yep. Is it okay to focus on material things that don't? What are the things that are good to focus on materially? Stuff that helps us survive. Is there anything else?
Usually, I feel like that's like an ethical one. But
I'd say things that help us survive but are like environmentally conscious. So like things that are regenerative, if we focus on like things that have been sourced like from the environment in a very conscious way, then it's okay, I'd say.
What does that mean?
Hi.
yeah, because that's the
Environmentally conscious things. Stuff that doesn't.
Things that are
that doesn't impact climate change.
Yeah.
Anything that's material that doesn't impact the environment negatively is an okay material thing to focus on.
I'd say.
Okay. All right.
And if it serves you in like the present moment, or if it serves you,
If it serves your present moment.
it serves your present moment, I guess, yeah. And like, mhm.
Is that like a meditation app or something? Or what's an example of a material thing that helps you focus on the present moment?
Actually, sorry, not like present moment, but things that like really resonate with like, I guess, the impact of what you want to do in the world. So like your calling. I
Things
don't
that
know.
help you do things that you want to do. Things that help you towards your purpose.
I guess so. Yeah.
because generally it doesn't.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So material things aren't all bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
to some extent, we need to have material things, but another thing that spirituality teaches is to let go of the attachment to them, kind of.
To
Too.
let go of the attachment to them. What do you mean attachment?
It's kind of like the idea that you like present your identity, or like you find a sense of self in material things. Like you find a sense of self in your.
You're a better person for having.
Yeah, kind of like what you compare yourself to other people. Like you're trying to boost your ego.
Okay.
Yeah.
A way to like give yourself more status or prestige.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't know where that
Okay.
would go.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a lot here. What would cause you to revise your confidence hypothetically? Any other reasons that, if true, would increase your confidence or decrease your confidence? Anything you don't know now, if you learned something new, what would cause you to revise your confidence?
I think I might become more confident. I feel like if I continue to like explore spirituality myself and like learn more about, I don't know, I guess how the world works.
That's one thing that would increase your confidence, having benefits to
Like-
exploring spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about decreasing it?
Decreasing? I don't think anything would decrease it. I think, yeah.
Nothing would decrease it?
Yeah. I don't know though, cause like, yeah, I feel like money rules the world. So like, if I get rich one, I don't really see myself like hoarding that much money though. But I don't know. We'll see. No. So I'll say no.
You'll say no for now? Okay. All right, maybe we can focus on that question next time if you see me again.
Okay.
That was great. Thank
Yeah.
you. What was it? Gina. Hi.
Thank you so. What was your name again?
Reed.
Reed. Thank you, Reed. This was really fun.
Yeah, so if you see me again, I'll try to be here once a week or so.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna
you can
take
check
this.
my card. And we also like to give people a special gift of one of these puzzle pieces. And if you see me again, you can get another piece and build out the whole set.
What?
Yeah, they're like little stress balls.
Oh my gosh! I can pick whichever one.
Yeah, whichever color you want.
Oh my god. Okay, I'll get yellow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is great.
Yeah.
Any feedback for me? Any questions?
No, that was really great. I love what you're doing here. I feel like this is a very like good way to engage with people.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's fun. There's a bunch of people who do it all over the world. I'm president of a nonprofit, Street Epistemology International, which tries to teach people how to do this. So
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh my
feel free
gosh.
to look it up.
Yeah, thank you, Reed.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Have a great day.
You too.
I'll take a picture of this